All right, clase, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and take out your paquete and turn to la página 8, which is what we started yesterday, and we'll go ahead and finish here. Yesterday you filled in the vocab words, and so here we'll fill in some of our notes a little bit. Okay, so la página 8 en el paquete, por favor. Okay, so like I said yesterday, we'll be starting our third and final section of vocabulario here in section 3. Sections 1 and 2, we went over school supplies, things that you need for school. Okay, section 2, we went over places you might go at school and subjects you study in school, as well as time, what time things start and end. Okay, so section 3, así se dice tres, we'll be going over the things that we do at school. ¿Qué hacemos en la escuela? What are the things that we do at school? So we're talking about activities and verbs. Okay, so we'll be able to describe the things that you do at school and the things that others do at school as well. Okay, so we've been dealing a lot with nouns in so far. And so now we're going to deal with something else. So, clase, go ahead and look at these 3 photos and tell me what are each of them an example of? What is happening in each of the pictures? What do they have in common? Okay, we have a girl running, a guy eating, and someone playing basketball. Correct, they are verbs. An action is happening in each of these pictures, okay? So a verb is an action word, okay? We've been working a lot with nouns, person, places, and things, and the articles that go with them, and so now we'll be doing more with verbs and with action words. So these are the things that really kind of define sentences in Spanish, okay? And so to swim, to throw, to run, these are all examples of action words. So a verb is an action word. Go ahead and write that in. In Espanol, you guys, the most basic form of a verb is called the infinitive. Okay, that's what we call a basic form of a verb, infinitive or el infinitivo. Okay, and what this just means is just a basic form of the verb, meaning it hasn't been changed, it hasn't been conjugated. Okay, it's just the most basic form which tells us what the action is. Okay. These infinitives in Spanish are only one word. In English, they are 2 words, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So they always end in one of 3 ways. Spanish verbs, Spanish infinitives, are always going to end in either AR, ER, or IR. So go ahead and write that in. AR, ER, and IR. This chapter will mostly be talking about the first one, AR verbs. Okay? So if you look at these examples here, okay, estudiar, that is one word, a Spanish infinitive. In English, the infinitive would be to study, 2 words, okay? There's really no word for to in a Spanish infinitive. It's just implied in the infinitive verb itself, okay? So to study, to do, and to write, okay? So 2 words in English, 1 word in Spanish. So the to is implied. That's why when we wrote out our vocab yesterday, I made sure you wrote the word to in front of the action. These are all verbs ending in either AR, ER, or IR. That's how you know it's a verb. Okay, so with the infinitive form, with this basic form of the verb, what that tells us is what the action is. Okay, so estudiar, for example, to study, that's what the action is, studying. But it does not say who is doing it. Doesn't say who is doing the action. And so that's what we're going to learn how to do here. In order to tell then who is doing the action, you must do what's called conjugate the verb. Go ahead and say that with me, clase. Conjugate. Conjugate. Muy bien. Many of you know how to do these already, and that's great. Some of you have never heard of it. So conjugation is a very critical part of learning the Spanish language, any language, but you guys are learning Spanish. So it's really simple. Okay, it's a simple formula, and here's how you will do it. Okay, so if you look at these verbs, for example, esquiar, to ski, that's what the action is, skiing, but it doesn't say who is doing it. Okay, so we must conjugate it, and here is how you do it. So start with the verb in the infinitive form. Okay, so let's take the verb cantar, which means what, clase? We learned this yesterday. To sing. Muy bien. So, we have the verb cantar. Okay? That's what the action is, to sing. Now, you're going to drop off the AR ending, and that leaves you with the base of the verb, which is cant, C-A-N-T. Okay? So we have our base of the verb, and then we will then add the verb ending that corresponds to that subject. Okay? So for the yo form, which you guys have used a little bit using hablo, the verb ending is o. So we're going to add o to the base, and that becomes canto. Okay, so we've now gone from to sing becomes now I sing, or I am singing. Okay, so pretty simple. Okay, so chop off the ending and add the corresponding subject ending. Let's take another one. Estudiar, which means what? To study. Muy bien. We're going to drop off the AR ending, leaving us with estudi. And then we're going to add the ending. Let's do the yo form again. And the ending will then be estudió. Okay, so we've gone from to study to I study, or I am studying. So, the ending for the yo form is yo. I'll tell you what the others are for the other subjects, okay? Now, what you're seeing on this chart here, these are what are called subject pronouns, okay? In English, we know these as I, we, they, you guys. Those are all pronouns, okay? This defines the subject of the sentence, okay? She is eating pizza, for example. She is the subject of the sentence, okay? She's the one doing the action, all right? So, some of these we've learned, some of them we haven't, okay? So if you want to write these in the chart at the bottom of your page there, just next to it, you can, okay? So, yo is I. Tú, we've already learned this, is you, informal, remember, ¿cómo estás? Tú, okay? These three we've also learned as well, okay? Él is he. Ella is she. Remember, not Ella, it's ella, it's she. And then usted, that is the same as tú, it's you, but remember, it's formal. Okay, that's why we say como está instead of como estás, okay? Because it's a different pronoun for a formal person. So, the ones on this side are all singular. They deal with one subject, one person, okay? The ones on this side are all plural, okay? So, basically, think of these as the plural forms of these, okay? So, nosotros, nosotras, that is we. Okay, so it's plural. You and I, we. They and I, that is we, okay? And then down here, we have the plural forms of each of these. Él becomes ellos, they, masculine they. Ella becomes ellas, feminine they. And then usted, one, becomes ustedes, which is you guys, okay, or all of you, group of you. Okay, I address you guys, class A, as ustedes. Okay, so these are pronouns. Here are the different endings that go with each of these pronouns. Okay, here we go. So the ending for yo would be o. Let's go ahead and write that in at the chart on the bottom. The ending for tú is as. Ending for él, ella, usted is all the same. It's going to be a. Okay, nosotros, the ending is amos. And for ellos, ellas, and ustedes, the ending is on. Okay, so there's 5 different verb endings that you need to memorize. O, as, a, amos, on. Okay, if you memorize that, then that will help you remember which one to use. O, as, a, amos, on. So those are the different verb endings. Okay, let's take bailar, for example. Let's conjugate this one. We've chopped off the AR, leaving us with bail. Okay. Bailar becomes bailó. Tú bailas, you dance. Ella baila, she dances. Nosotros bailamos, we dance, or we are dancing. And then ellos bailan. They are dancing, or you guys are dancing. Okay, so do you guys see how the different verb endings just attach onto the base of the verb. Okay? I'll explain this more when I'm there, and we'll do some practice together. Okay, so let's do some practice right now. Okay, so using the notes I just gave you and the chart, see if you can conjugate, just in the blank space on your packet there, each of these different verbs. Okay, so write the conjugated verb. Okay, I'll have your sub go ahead and pause the video and then show you the answers when you've finished. Okay? All right, let's see how we did. Okay, so you should have had the following. Okay, for ella would have been habla. Practicar for usted becomes practica. Okay, so notice it's the same ending but different subjects. Okay, estudiar becomes estudiamos. Navegar becomes navegan. And then mirar becomes miró. Usar becomes usas for the to form. And then participar for él, he, becomes él participa. Okay, he participates or is participating. Okay, so if you need to change any of the answers, go ahead and do that. Next, I'll give you guys a practice worksheet, and it's going to be some practice conjugating these AR verbs. Most of the verbs you know, but the ones you don't, that's okay. You can look up in the back of the book what they mean, but you don't need to know the meaning in order to conjugate it. Okay, so try to just follow those rules that I just gave you and see if you can conjugate them. Okay, so for the first part, you're going to fill in the chart in part A with all the correct verb forms. Do the same for part B, but instead it gives you a sentence and you will fill in the blank with the correctly conjugated verb in the blank. Okay, you guys can talk to the partner next to you to help you out, work together. Do not use Translate. If you don't finish this in class, please do finish it for homework. I will check it for credit next class, and then we'll go over it together. Okay, so I know you guys will have some questions, but just see how you do initially with the initial practice, okay, with AR verbs. All right, so let me know how you guys do, if you have any questions, and we'll go over this next class. All right, gracias, see you tomorrow.